Hey, what's up, everyone? Alright, so Ernie here with Wicked Awesome Gifts, and we are inside because it's cold outside. And I've got two projects going in the laser right now, and I came inside to make me some coffee. So I figured while the family's out, they're getting some last minute Halloween stuff. I need a haircut, I know, and a shave, but whatever. So they're out. I've got a little bit quiet. They might come home and interrupt me. We'll see. But I was having a discussion. So we're not going to do any lasering in this video. We're going to go do Lightburn stuff. I haven't done any Lightburn stuff with you guys. Probably ever. I'll try to do some more Lightburn and ink space stuff too. But today we're going to talk about inverting images. Now, a lot of times I don't always use the correct verbiage. I use what words make sense to me, and I confuse people. And I was having a discussion last night with somebody about inverting pictures. So we will go over that. Now, I don't have a whole lot of samples. On the next video, I'll try to have some samples, but we're going to need to understand what we're seeing, right, when we look at the images in Lightburn in the preview mode. Now, I normally don't care what things look like in preview mode, especially when it comes to raster images, but when we're talking vectors and inverting, then we care. And just so you know, when I say inverting, I don't mean clicking the invert button. Basically, to me, when I talk about inverting something, it means swapping the contrast. Okay, so got way too much crap on here. All right, so let's just click over here into Lightburn, and so there's my Lightburn window now. When I'm inside, I don't have this hooked up to the X tool anymore, even though it says X tool down there. And I just made my grid huge on purpose, just way bigger than any laser has, but just to give me a lot of workspace is really the only reason why I do that. So one example I want to do is this one. And let me bring in another one real quick. That's the one I've already edited, so I'm going to bring in the one that I did not edit. And let's see, American flag, eagle holding, I think it's this one. Yes, okay. You are not grouped. All right, group. I'll try to call out. For those of you who know how to use Lightburn, great. Stick around. Maybe there'll be something useful for you. Those of you that don't, I'll do my best to call out keyboard shortcuts and stuff as I do it. Just because when I get into go mode, I just start doing things, and I don't always remember that everyone doesn't know what we're doing, right? So, Control G will group things. So now you see when I click on any part of it, the whole thing is all together. Control U, ungroup. So now if I click on the frame and I go to move it, it's only going to move the frame, right? Whoops. Control X will make it go away. Control Z is undo, so we like the undo button. Now there are different layers to grouping too. Now when I say that, I don't mean layers like over in the up here. I mean layers like right now you see it's still grouped on the inside. The only thing separating when I ungrouped it the first time was the frame and then the image. If you Control U again, it'll go down to the next layer of grouping. So you're gonna see that little piece there is grouped, probably the stars are individual, all that kind of stuff, right? So there. Now if I just highlight it all, hit Control G, now it's all grouped, one big thing. So if I Control U again, ungroup it, Now we're going to be back to the individuals. So earlier when I was working on it, I had saved a few spots and grouped those specifically for a certain reason at that time. So I'll get into that here in a minute probably. So anyway, I want to get that out of my way. That's the one I fixed. This is the one that is the original, and it's not grouped. But so I like to be able just to grab things and move them, and if it's not grouped, you'll grab it and move whatever you grabbed at that time. So actually, let me get this off the canvas altogether so it doesn't show when I preview. Okay, so this is the original image as it comes, and I got this image from Patriot Nation Designs. I think it's patriotnationdesigns.com. They did a recent web change. I don't know, just Google it. A lot of really cool images. I went ahead and subscribed to their monthly thing, so I get like 20 downloads a month or something. It's pretty cool. I normally don't do subscriptions, not gonna lie. But they got a lot of pretty cool stuff on there. So this one I felt was worth it. And honestly, at $20 a month, guys, I mean, I'm not an advocate for them. I've never spoken to them. I'm not trying to sell their shit. But I just, you know me, I keep it real and I speak my thought of the moment. And it's $20 a month. There's a lot of people on here, oh, I can't afford it. I'll wait till my business gets better. We went through this with one of the apps you can use on the phone to do your backgrounds and stuff. But I mean, I get that, okay? I'm not rich. I'm not making a lot of money here. I'm making just enough money to pay my laser bills. I've got too many laser bills right now. Once those are paid off, then I'll be doing all right. But I'm also not stupid. You know, I understand. I don't mean to be a jerk, but I mean, it's $20 a month. That seems like a lot, right? If you sell one thing, you've already made that money, guys. So think of it that way. If you don't sell enough product to cover a $20 a month, even if you're saturated right now, like I am, even though I've already got, you know, $1,000 a month in laser bills and other bills, laser related, you know, it's still $20. So if I want to get something and there's a monthly fee involved, I'm going to say, okay, can I make money off this? If I can make money off of it, it's a no-brainer, right? That's what I meant when I said I'm not stupid. It's a no-brainer. If all I have to do is sell one thing for $20 and I get my money back, right? So obviously it's got to be profit, $20 profit, but whatever, you know what I mean? So if it's just something you want to get because it's kind of cool, you know, then we got to be careful, because I have a habit of doing that too, and I'll run through Etsy sometimes and I'll just buy a whole bunch of crap. And next thing you know, you spend $100. Now I got to make $100 actually a month because I bought a bunch of crap. So, you know, you got to be careful with that. But when you're talking a solid monthly thing, and it's something that you can more than likely are going to use on the reg, you know, don't be scared of those monthly fees. This is my point. I canceled some other ones I had because it turned out I wasn't making any money off it. Like one of them was some AI generation thing, like a Leonardo AI or something. I thought I was going to use that to make cool designs. I don't have time for that. I canceled it yesterday. I wasn't making any money off of it. These I'll make money off of, right? These are awesome, these images. So anyway, this is the one I got from them. Now, if you leave it just like they sent it to us, right? 9 out of 10 times, any image that you get is going to be made to engrave on wood or leather or something like that. It's not going to be made to engrave on something you're removing materials off of, like a tumbler or a business card or a can, ammo can, something like that. So you have to keep that in mind, that these images are going to be made for that, typically. Sometimes people are going to say, oh, this image is made specifically for a cup. Great, cool, whatever. But 9 out of 10 times it's going to be made for putting on something where you're burning into an image. And the reason that's important is because when your laser is burning something into an image, it's going to make a dark mark, right? Typically. Sometimes if you're blasting it with a CO2, it's just going to remove material and it doesn't really get that dark. So unless you slow it down, but that's a whole other thing. So the point is, these images are created with that in mind, that you're going to be burning it into something. And it comes to play, and it's important when you're talking about shadowing and or lights and dark contrast, because I think this image, they didn't do it that way anyway. Let's look at this guy as an example. I think this image was messed up, so I had to fix it anyway. But let's look at this guy, right? This soldier. So if we hit preview, I've already got it inverted. All right, and I look at that soldier, this is exactly how it's going to look on whatever you're engraving. The black is going to be where the laser hits and the laser burns into the material. The white is going to be the wood color. Now, the only time this really comes into play when it could be backwards is if you're burning a dark wood. Sometimes the wood could still be darker than you're engraving, but it's not likely, and it's just going to be kind of stupid looking. So we don't really burn dark woods, right? None of these are good examples, so put those away. So anyway, this looks wrong, right? Because I already did something to it. So let me get that away and turn that into a tool mode. All right. Stop doing that. That's fucking annoying. Preview. Okay. So now when we look at our guy, now he looks normal, right? I think I just heard a door, so I might be interrupted. So when we look at that, our glasses are dark, the gun looks right, and everything looks cool. He looks normal. So when you engrave that on your piece of wood or your piece of leather, that's what it's going to look like. Now, let's pretend we wanted to engrave that on a cup or a tumbler. Control D to duplicate, by the way. So, yeah, family's home, so I'm going to have to go. All right, let's take away that frame. So now we've got the two things side by side. You notice they're going to be the same, right? There we go. They're the same. So if we engrave that on a tumbler, it's going to look stupid because the tumbler engraving doesn't make a dark mark. It's removing the material. So now we have to think about our lighting and our shades in terms of light and dark. Now we've got the glasses here are dark. They're supposed to be dark. If we engrave this on a tumbler just like this, these glasses will be the chrome color, and we'll just use blue cup for an example, right? So when you engrave it, the glasses will be the color of the aluminum or stainless steel, and the face will be blue. So I might have one. I have to press pause in a little bit, but I might have a. I'll get some samples of some ones I did wrong. So basically, if you look at your image, and sometimes there is a single solid line that goes all the way around it. Zoom in and take a look, and you'll see there's a single solid line, right? And it's basically an outline. Now, some of the images don't always have those, but this one does. And that's cool. One thing you can do is delete that outline, right? If it's still going to keep the shape of the subject, then you'll be okay. So rather than actually delete it, I'm just going to turn it into a tool line because then it won't show up on the preview. So I turn that into a tool line, and now if we go and hit the preview button, you'll notice that our image looks different, right? It's inverted. That's why I say invert your images, okay? Now, this one kind of kept the shape of what it is, but it looks a little silly, like he's missing a piece of his arm and a piece of the gun. So, but the point I wanted to show you was that now look at the glasses. The glasses are white, and the face is black. So, remember, anytime you're looking at the preview screen, whatever is black is what is engraved, and whatever is white will not be engraved. So it's going to be the natural color of the material you're doing. In this case, would be the blue of a tumbler. Okay. So, now one thing you can do also is just click this invert button down here, and it'll actually invert those for you. So this is what your final product would actually look like. And this is where we would know, hey, the one on the left, the one I didn't touch, if I were to put that on a tumbler, that would look stupid, right? I mean, look at it. You can't tell anything. If I put this one on the tumbler, it looks normal now. The eyes are going to be blue, which is the color of the cup, and then the face will be engraved into silver. And the proper shadowing on his handkerchief, the proper shadowing on the gun, the clothes, everything. So, you can use that invert button down there to see. Now, you don't have to do that for wood. If this is going to go on a piece of wood, it's going to look exactly like you see it. But if you're going to put it on a business card, a tumbler, the paint cans, the ammo cans I got behind me, then hit this invert button, and that'll tell you, hey, my image is going to look stupid or my image is going to look good. So let's take this one away. Let's pretend we're back in the beginning. This is my guy. I want to go burn this on a tumbler. What's it going to look like? So we hit preview. Zoom in, look at it, right? And we think, oh, it looks great. No, because this is going to be on a tumbler or a painted or coated metal surface. 9 out of 10 times you're going to have to do something to it. Now, to give us the preview, we'll see here, click invert. Boom, that's what it's going to look like. It's going to look stupid. So we don't want that. Now, what you can do, let's go ahead and just get rid of this tool line here. Now, we know this has the extra line that we were talking about, but there's other things you can do with that. You can get into more detail, more trickery, but let's pretend it doesn't. So all you really need to do, guys, and even if, let's do this. Let's pretend it doesn't have that outline, right? And you want to make an outline, and you're like, well, holy crap, how do I make an outline? He's got, all these loose bits everywhere. There's no outline. All you have to do is highlight the whole image and click this button over here. Is my mouse showing? Oh, I don't know if my mouse, oh yeah, there it is, okay. But the screen is not, it's not showing the tools, or is my stupid camera in the way? Hold on a minute. Get back over there. Ah, my camera's in the way. Let's put you down here. There's nothing important down there. And we'll put you down there. Alright, so over here, now we can see what I'm doing over here. This little circle thing, I don't even know what it's called. Normally when you hover, it tells you, whatever. Oh, I didn't highlight anything. Alright, highlight your subject and then hover over this button, offset, called the offset button. Yeah. And here you can pick what distance, 1 millimeter, 2 millimeters, you can go and go and go, way out, way in, whatever. Oh, my computer's dragging on me now. That's cool. Oh, Lightburn's broke. Cool. I have way too many things open on my computer. I got 3 monitors up, and I've probably got 50 windows open, so. Alright, now we don't want 8. It's still not responding. God damn it. I'm just going to close it. Cool. I'll bring up another copy. Where's Lightburn? There you are. Oh, my nose itches. I gotta reactivate my Lightburn. Cool. Import projects. Where is Patriot Nation? There you are. And this one. We'll just go back to this. Yeah. So I don't know where the soldier is right now. That's something else I had opened up. So here we go. Let's pretend we wanted to add an outline or a border. Just highlight the whole thing and click the outline button up here. Offset button, rather. choose how far you want. Like pretend I wanted to make a 10mm border, right? So I just type in 10. And boom, there's a 10mm border. Oh, I went inside. Alright, let's try it again. Hit the offset button. See right here, it says outward or inward. Alright, you can bring that in or you can bring it out. So we're going to do outward. And now I got a border. Okay. Now if I just wanted to cut it and not have any effect, change it to your cut layer. My cut layers are red. So now it would just make that piece around the outside. So you can have a border around your subject. But let's take a look and see what this even looks like. Preview. All right. So remember what I said. This is going to be if we were doing it on a piece of wood. Okay. So in this case, the eagle's good. You know, eagles have white heads. And if we were to invert that, you see now the eagle has a dark head and his feathers are white. Now that's not good, right? That looks stupid. So here's the problem that I have with this particular image. What they did, I don't know why. Now this could just be a me thing, right? But that's fine. I'm making stuff for me. So stars should be not engraved. They should be the lighter of the color. Because if you're looking at a flag, the blue and white, right? Stars are white and the little area behind it's blue. So I don't know why they chose to do it this way. Some people might like it that way when they engrave it. They might like to see it that way. I don't. So I want my stars to be white, this to be black. So it needs to be inverted, right? So if we click that, that's how I want my flag to be, with the background engraved and the stars. I might have one of these. Yeah. Okay. So that's how I want mine. I want my stars to be brighter than the background of the flag, because in my mind that's the way it should be. I don't think I have any the opposite because I don't like it. Yeah, even this little guy, he's the same way. Yeah, I don't have any, so I don't do it that way. So what we have to do, we have to fix this image, because if we just straight up invert this image, right, so that the flags show up properly, the eagle's going to get screwed up. So the first thing we're going to notice is it has two borders. Okay. Now, when you have an engraved layer and you have another engraved layer around that of the same layer, not a different color, it's going to make it. Hold on a minute. Alright, so let's do another quick little sample real quick. And this is just in case people don't know what I'm talking about. So if we have this and we set it to an engraved layer, my engraved layers are always black. Let's go ahead and get this off the canvas for now. Oops, I'm just in here drawing squares everywhere. Alright, get that off of there. So we have a single square we drew with the square tool. And if we look at it in a preview mode, it's going to be a solid square. If we put another square inside that square, now these are the same layer, okay? And they're both engraved layers. Now it's going to alternate between engraving and not engraving. So what we're going to have now is a rectangle frame looking thing. Okay? And it just keeps doing that the whole way. Anytime you put something inside something else, it's just going to alternate. So engraved, not engraved, engraved, not engraved, etc. So it's going to alternate. And this might shed a little bit of light on some of what I tell you guys to do in the group. So now you see we've got engraved layer, not engraved, so forth and so on. And if you actually move one of these to where they overlap, then it does all kinds of funky things, right? Watch. See? So it's engraved, not engraved, etc. So now that you know how that works, that can help you understand what you need to do with your image. So when you need to invert something, just throw another layer around it, guys. That's all you got to do. Throw an outline around it of that same layer, and it'll invert it. Or in the case of this one, where we want to take one away. So we just delete that outermost layer. We still have our square, we still have our flag. And now if we look at it, our flag is normal, okay? Is what I call normal. We have the stars being brighter than the background, and then the stripes alternated as well. The problem we have is now the whole eagle flipped, right? And that looks ugly. And if we were to actually engrave this on metal, now my flag goes back to being stupid, but my eagle looks good. So, what I'm going to do is put that layer back around the outside, because I'm going to pretend that I'm going to put this on one of those metal ammo cans. Okay? So, if we go and hit preview and we hit invert, now we see the flag is normal, how I want it. So that's telling me when they prepped this file, they probably made it to go on some kind of painted metal surface, would be my guess. But they didn't flop the eagle out, so I still think it's wrong. But it's fine, it's an easy fix. So here's where, well, I say easy, but it gets a little tricky. Because we're not just talking about inverting the whole image now, we're talking about inverting a piece of the image. Luckily for us, they do have a single layer line around this eagle. So if we look, now I don't think I had anything grouped, so if you do, you got to make sure you ungroup it. But now if I click on just that eagle, you'll see there's an outer layer, okay? And if we move it over, right, there was a whole layer just hanging out around the eagle for whatever reason. Damn it, I hit the wrong button. Now what we can do is we could resize this or offset it, add another one. Now if you look real close, there's not a whole lot of room here, right? So if we were to bring another layer inward, like 0.25, round and inward, you'll see it's gonna come there. And the more you start making really thin lines, the more your laser's gonna struggle, right? Doing those lines anyway, because you don't want a whole lot of thin things there. So the easier thing to do with this particular image would be just to get rid of that outline. Because if we get rid of this outline, all of those other pieces will in turn invert, just like I did with the squares inside the squares a minute ago, right? So now if we look at it, it looks stupid because this would be on wood, but if we click invert, now it's going to be on metal. Now it doesn't look stupid at all. It has the stars the way I like them, and the eagle is the way it's supposed to be. Now you could get real picky and say, well, that looks good, but the eagle feathers, you know, there's no outer layer here, you know, enclosing those feathers as a single solid piece. And that's true, there's not. But in this kind of image, it's more about the idea and the impression of the eagle itself. But if you want to get specific, you just put the layer back. So now we have that layer back. And if you look over here near the stars, there's a little bit of room, not much, to go outward. Little pieces of stars, you could even delete those and no one would know the difference. And as you look over here, see, there's not a whole lot of room. But let's just go outward and see. So we hit that, go out. I'm going to go outward about 0.25. And what that's going to do is give us a 0.25 of a millimeter border. Now it's going to be kind of hard for your laser to laser that, but depending on how big the image is. So the reason I keep zooming in and out, I'm checking to see if that additional layer, this is the new layer that we made. This is the old layer, this is the new one. I'm looking to see if that is overlapping anything, because if it's overlapping anything, it's going to turn the alternate color. You'll notice it also made a piece in the middle here. We may or may not leave that. We'll see how that looks. Alright, let's see. So hit window, hit preview, bring it up, hit invert. And now you have a little bit of a white border around the eagle feathers, the wings. So the wings appear to be a solid piece. And I think that's okay. So if we look at my ammo box, this is the image I did on my ammo box. Did I do a border? Okay, yeah, so I did do a border around mine, but if you look close, you really can't see it all that well. So I mean, honestly, you could probably, on my next one, I'll probably just leave that border off, because you can't, as I look at it up close in person, I can kind of see it a little bit, but I honestly don't think it's even worth putting in there. But, so there you go. That's basically how you invert something. It's not like on your rotary when you click the invert button or your image and you're clicking invert buttons to invert, you know, that's not what I mean when I tell you to invert something. The easiest way to invert something is to add a layer around it, or a border, for lack of better words, right? So just for shits and giggles, let's grab this eagle. Get him out of there. Delete that. Delete that. Delete that. Delete, damn you. I think I got them all. I'm going to delete the extra border we just made. Delete that. Delete that. Alright, so this is going to be the eagle. Let me group that. Okay, so simple explanation. Let's pretend you downloaded this image somewhere and you want to burn it, and let's go see what it looked like. It looks weird, right? You want to put this on wood. I mean, yes, would it burn? Of course. Well, it'll show up. It's going to look stupid, isn't it? Because the eagle, bald-headed eagle, is not brown on the top of his head. It's white. So if you were to wanted to burn this image, it wouldn't work. So how do we invert that, right? The easiest way to do that is to highlight the whole image and click this offset button over here. And we're going to go outward. Now you notice if I just leave it at 0.25, it's doing every single little piece, right? Even if you don't check outer shapes only, it doesn't always work right. So what you want to do is always make the border large enough so that it covers the whole thing and all these little inner pieces go away. But you can then shrink it back down if you need it smaller. Like if I only wanted a 0.25 border, I couldn't do it right now. So what I would do was put it back to a whole number and go up right about there. Now sometimes you'll get the middle pieces, and that's okay. So we hit OK. Now our new layer is going to be grouped with all of its other little pieces, so you can click that, just go off to the right. Now you see it's going to have all this crap in the middle that we don't want because we just wanted an outline, right? So what you can do now is highlight that whole thing, Control U, that'll ungroup it, and then highlight all that crap, but don't get the whole thing in there, and then hit delete, and it all goes away. So now we have just the outline, right? So now we put that outline back, and if we were to go ahead and do a preview now, it'll look normal. There you go. Now we have our bald-headed eagle with wings like he's supposed to be. Now if you did want that one, remember I said if you wanted this at a 0.25, not a 1 millimeter, no reason to, but if you did, now that you have all that inside crap out of the way, you can just hit the offset tool and this time go inward, and go inward 0.75, and there you go. Now we gotta delete. Wait, it didn't do it. What did I hit? Cancel? What the hell? Inward 0.75. Oh, it's just that tiny, that's all. Oh no, it's there. I'm stupid. Okay. It's right there. So this would be the outermost one, and there. Now we got that innermost one. Now that's 0.25 away from your subject. I think it's going to look silly, but anyway, it's up to you. It's personal preference. So I think it looks goofy right there. So I would probably leave it bigger just so that that gets filled in. Yeah, there's still a little bit right there too. I would honestly probably go out a little bit more. Yeah, I don't know that I like that right there. So you could just do that and go out 0.25. No, not enough. Well, then we can get rid of that little inside piece. So delete that. Control U, and delete that. There we go. Now we got that little piece of crap gone. Yeah, that looks way better. I'm pointing at the screen like you can see me, but that looks way better right there. So there you go. That's how you invert things, guys. Just use this offset tool over here. Once you understand how the layers work, and by layers, I'm not talking again the different layers over here, but the layers of itself. So every engravable layer within that layer. It's like Inception. So anyway, that's hopefully, I don't know if I made that as beginner as it should be or not. I don't know. Y'all let me know. If you need a little more explaining on something, I'll try to do that, and then I'll also maybe next time have some samples on hand of what things actually look like when they're engraved. But to make things invert and whatever the opposite of invert is correctly, just add and remove outline layers. That's all you got to do. That's the short version. So there you go. Hopefully this will help you guys, and if not, I don't know what to tell you. So I don't know. Leave me some messages in there and let me know if it's helpful or not. Thanks. Bye. Where's the stop button? There it is.